So often, it becomes apparent to me that what is holding most of us back is something we need to let go. A false belief, a distracted, unhealthy relationship. Yet, as human beings, we tend to cling to what is familiar, even if it's pull us down. And the reason why, because it's safe. You define yourself by your action. Awareness is always the first step to progress. And the becoming is the second. To get more than you got, you must become more than you are. The becoming has to happen first. Forget about what others may think or say about you, because people who are conditioned to identify with their image will never learn how to get their own bearings, set their own goals, or judge their own action without thinking first about their audience. The need for recognition will hold them back. And in most cases, make a hostage out of them. Some years ago, I went to a graduation, and a young lady in her teens had a small part in the graduation exercise. So I told the young lady, how much I enjoyed her speech. And I saw at once that something was disturbing the young lady greatly. Her hands were trembling. Her voice was unmistakably tense. So she looked at me and said, "Sir, that's nice of you. Thanks for the compliment. But then you notice I forgot one line in my speech." Poor girl. She was picturing herself as a fish in a bowl, with 100 observant and critical eyes riveted on her. But as a matter of fact, most of the people who attended graduation paid little or no attention to her 3 minutes talk. No one knew she missed a sentence from her speech. The saying goes, a man only began to be a man when he ceased to whine and revile, and began to search for hidden powers which regulate his life. And as he adopted his mind in the regulating factor, he stopped accusing others as the cause of his condition, and built himself up in strong and noble thoughts, and ceased to kick against circumstances, stop complaining about what's really going on all the time, but began to use them as aids to his more rapid progression, and as a means of discovering the hidden powers that we all have and the possibilities within himself. And we can do it. In many situations, our enemy is not outside of us, but inside of our heads. Every man is where he or she is by the law of his being and the thoughts that he has built into his character. Just like the great Buddha said many centuries ago, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. What you exhibit outwardly, you are inwardly. You are the product of your own thoughts. What you believe yourself to be, you are. That's why it's important to talk to yourself, say positive things to yourself. Thoughts created after its own kind. Thoughts attract that upon which it is directed. It was Job who said, "For the things which I greatly fear is upon me." Some of our fears become reality through our imagination, but just as Job did, fortunately many of them did not. You must remember, the same men whose ideas developed the very civilization we live in today, most of them have been slandered, cursed, even crucified by haters of their time. The very thought that any man or woman should be fortunate enough to secure some particular advantage that others have missed is enough to anger or excite the envy of the weak and the ignorant. And that's why people get angry. Well, how did you do this? Where did you get that from? We all like to judge, but we don't know enough to judge, but we like to. Not only are we unworthy, we are unqualified. We don't know enough about the person to judge, about, his passion. We condemn a man for stumbling this morning, but we don't see the blows he took last night. We judge a woman for the limp in her walk, but can't see the tack in her shoes. But we don't care. We don't know enough. We mark with fear, but have no idea how many insults they endure or bullets they have dodged the night before, the week before, or in their past. Are they too loud? Perhaps they fear being ignored or neglect. Again, Are they too timid? Perhaps they fear failing again. Too slow? Maybe they feel the last time that they hurried, who knows? Maybe they might have failed. We don't know. Only the one who has followed yesterday's steps can be the judge. Not only are we ignorant about yesterday, we're ignorant about tomorrow or the next day. Now, how can we judge a book while the chapters are still being written? Should we pass verdict on a painting while the artist still holds the brush? No. We're saying, watch out now, be careful. The Peter who denies Jesus at tonight's fire may proclaim him with fire at tomorrow's Pentecostal. Who knows, We don't hold the gravel. Somewhere between the escort service and the church service, there's always this person who like to point the fingers at others. But whoever you are, when you judge another, think about this. In passing judgment upon him, you condemn yourself. Because you, the judge, are doing the very same thing. Who's this person? Think about it. It could be me. It could be anyone. Whoever you are. Who filtered God's grace through his own opinion. Anyone who dilutes God's mercy with his own prejudice. You become the prodigal son. The elder brother who wouldn't attend the party. Or the fault-finding brother obsessed by his brother's sin and oblivious to his own. We can't even see it, The key word here is judge. Say, it's one thing to have an opinion. It's quite another one to pass verdict. It's one thing to have, a conviction. It's another one to convict the person. It's our job to hate the sin, but it's God's job to deal with the sinner. We don't hold the gravel, but oh, how we'd like to. Is there any act more delightful than this judging others? You thought about it. Everything you look at, that's where people are. There's something smudged and self-satisfying about donning the robe, stepping behind the bench, and slamming down the gravel. Guilty. Besides judging others, it's a quick and easy way for us to feel good about ourselves. It's like taking a few dollars and going to the 99-cent store. I call it a 99-cent ego boost. Standing next to that person on the corner every day, I'm not that bad compared to them. But that's the problem. We're not compared to them. We are not the standards. God is. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, have confidence. A dream will never come true by dreaming. All things go through stages. A dream must move from the nesting phase to the testing phase and into the investment phase to reach the question stage. Dreamers who become doers operate emotionally and rationally with confidence. They have confidence in their intelligence, their instincts, and confidence in their secret intuition. Once you have confidence in your self-confidence, you can have confidence in what you learn in life. That's education. Things you learn over your 30, 40, whatever. Whether acquired in the classroom or in the school of hard knocks. You should have confidence in your instincts like a bird who creates its own nest, or like a salmon who returned to its place of origin. We as humans also operate successful on hunches. People don't like to think of it. Best described as instinctive. Make a daily demand on your creativity. Everything starts as someone's daydream. Your imagination has the power to light its own fire. Unlike an airplane, your imagination can take off day or night in any kind of weather, no cancellation. Other people may be smarter, better educated, or more experienced. But no single person, none, has a corner on dreams, desires, or ambitions. Human imagination and concentration are the chief factors in developing the magnetic forces of the subconscious mind, And let's not forget visualization now. You have often heard the statement, hold that picture. We spoke about that earlier. Or vision. the biblical warning where there is no vision, the people perish, without a mental picture of comparing, no accomplishment is done. Men who have devoid the power of spiritual perception are unable to recognize anything that cannot be seen externally. We said earlier, that's once your confidence in your self-confidence, you can have confidence in what you learn in life. The next thing is habits. For our purpose, we'll define a habit as the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. Knowledge is the theoretical paradigm, the way to do and the why. Skill is the power to do, and desire is the motivation, the way to do. To make something a habit in our life, we must have all three. Let's talk about the habit, for example. When a habit emerges, the brain stops fully participating in decision making. It stops working so hard. It diverts focus to other tasks. So unless you deliberately fight a habit, unless you find new routine, the pattern will unfold automatically. Habits never really disappear. They are encoded into the structure of our brains. But that's a good thing, because I would hate to have to relearn how to drive after a vacation. Habits are powerful, but delicate. They share our lives far more than we realize. They are strong, in fact. Habits cause our brains to cling to them at the exclusion of others, including common sense. But we do know, for a habit to permanently change, we must believe that change is possible. Belief is easy when it occurs within a community. The process that made AA effective was the power of a group to teach individuals how to believe. This usually happens whenever people come together as a group, to help one another. It seems real when you can see it on other people's eyes, really. Start with what you have, Don't wait on what you don't have. Never let what you think you can't do, keep you from doing what you can do. As the saying goes, prolonged idleness paralyzes initiative. For the hesitant mind, everything is impossible. Why? Because it seems so. If you want material prosperity, you must have a prosperity thoughts. You make a habit of doing so. The one thing that keeps most people, I think, poor is the habit of a poverty thinking. If you want to be prosperous, you must have prosperity thoughts. The principle involved is very simple, but unfortunately, the doing of it is anything but easy. Now you would say, why? The answer lies in the extraordinary potential of habit. Habits of things are the most subtle in character and the most difficult to break. Ask anyone who ever did anything with a habit. It is easy, comparatively speaking, to break a physical habit, if you really mean business, because action on the physical plane is so much slower and powerful than on a mental plane. Don't wait for special circumstances to act. A lot of people avoid discovering the secret of success because deep down in there, is their fear. They suspect the secret may be hard work. Or they think about the failure of the past. But we came to the conclusion that events in the past may be roughly divided into those which probably never happened and those which does not matter. Your past cannot be changed, forget about it. But you can change your tomorrow by your action today. My first rule for happiness is to avoid relentlessly thinking about the past. Nothing is as far away as 1 hour ago. The second rule for happiness is to stay away from negative people.